Hey everyone, TT here. I'll talk a little bit about the ongoing series Aikido with Mind Body Co-ordinated for LGBTQ+. So we had our first session last Sunday. It was a really fantastic session with a group of people, generating some community around the practice, some community around being queer people trying to explore in our bodies, releasing tension, getting relaxed, finding center. Really great practice with everyone, and I'm really grateful that we were able to do that together. So we have 3 more classes coming up, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the topics we'll be covering in the next class and going on from there. So what we worked on in the first session a lot was getting into the center. In the next session, we're going to be looking at a couple things: moving from the center, centered movement, centering through change in movement, and we're going to be looking a little bit at one major principle in Aikido practice, which is called entering and blending, right? So this is a practice where when I'm using these terms, right, they have philosophical ramifications, they can have psychological ramifications, but we're going to be practicing them on a physical level as well. So all of those kind of different fields come together, but we're going to be doing them in physical movement practices too. So at least on the physical level, when I speak of entering and blending and having centered movement, it refers to some of the principles in Aikido. For instance, if you have an attack coming towards you, one of the principles is that you need to enter into the space of the attack, so entering into conflict, but you also need to blend with it. So not trying to dominate or control completely, but trying to have clear direction, a clear entering, and a blending and receiving of the energy of your partner or your attacker. So one of the major principles in Aikido is that of entering into the space of conflict rather than shying away, retreating, or even blocking. Right? So we don't practice actual blocks in this martial art, right? We practice entering and deflecting and blending, right? And it becomes about the idea of having a relaxed strength, right? Rather than strength against strength, it's moving with the energy, staying at your most relaxed, your most centered, because from your most relaxed and from your most centered is where you are most powerful. That is when your mind is most clear, is when your body is able to move most quickly, most easily, right? So all of these principles come together: mind, body, energy, all unified. And that's really where the title of the practice that I'm doing comes from: Mind and Body Coordinated. We want to keep unifying our mind and body deeper and deeper, especially in the Western world specifically, where we often have a lot of mind and body division conditioned into us. Aikido is one of the many practices that is about bringing that back together and bridging that gap. So we will be looking a little bit at that entering and blending principle. And of course, what is great about Aikido practice and somatic practices that focus on that mind and body connection in general is that we might have kind of a field of the philosophies and the language around it. And then we might have sort of the emotional, mental, psychological health and well-being effects. But in the middle, we have the somatic practice, the physical movement practices. Whereas something along the lines of, say, cognitive behavioral therapy would go from philosophy to cognition without involving the body in the middle. And I think that's a big loss, because the body is the place of regeneration. The body is the source of the energy. And our brain exists in the body, and our mind exists through our whole body, right? So practices that involve embodying these philosophies before we try to cognitively place them in our day-to-day life, interpersonal relationships, and mental health issues, right? We need to embody them first. So we're going to work on that in these few classes in as little snippets as we can get together. We're going to do some embodiment of these philosophies, and we're going to talk about them a little bit in terms of the martial self-defense capacity, but we're really going to focus on how that embodiment leads into the mental health and well-being effect. And we're really going to look at that and research that together, and we'll have the chance to talk about it too. I want to open up discussions in each class for us to talk about our mental health needs, how we might find embodiment as a source of kind of medicine for that mental health, for that emotional well-being. And what about this practice that people resonate with from their 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours practicing with me? So I really look forward to seeing some of the same group we had last week, some new people. If you need more information about the practice, you can message me, contact me here. If you're concerned about missing previous classes, I have all the classes recorded. So if you sign up, basically anyone who registers is going to have access to all the previous classes on recording. So if you miss one, or you will miss one in the future because of other commitment, you will have access to all the recordings once you're registered. So again, open to all beginners, open to beginners in embodied practice, martial arts, Aikido itself, open to people from other embodied arts, open to Aikido practitioners, martial artists, dancers, everyone and anyone. And I know that we will do things that might be familiar to some, that might be new to others, and we'll go at it all with this nice cultivation of beginner's mind approaching everything with a fresh presence, with a nice open, wide view, and an ability to receive the information, receive the practice, and take each moment anew. So I really look forward to it. If you have any other questions, again, don't hesitate to contact me. All the information is in the posts that I've made about it. You can find it by joining my email list on my profile, by contacting me on Facebook, Magic Qigong, again, or just sending me a direct message, and I'll provide you with all the pertinent information about the class series. So I look forward to seeing you there this Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time. Thank you.